Welcome to another episode of That Crazy Triangle Guy. Here we are looking at Bitcoin CME futures on the daily time frame, and we've already started a new week yesterday. However, this is Monday, and CME futures is about to open in just a couple minutes. Now, chances are we're not going to form a gap here because on Friday we closed at 44.6, or we didn't close there, but we ranged there throughout the day all the way up to 44.640. So currently Bitcoin is trading at 43,700. We've come up close to where we left off on Friday, but not quite. So unless futures is going to trade at $900 premium to spot, then I'm $900. I don't think we're gonna worry about a gap there. Now we still have this one here, which I maintain never will get filled at 39,600 to about 40,300 ish. So futures just opened here at 3 o'clock California time, and it's interesting that futures here is trading at a slight discount to spot. Actually, it's $50. It was about even at open. That usually, it indicates that institutional traders, I guess, are betting. They're all sleeping. Maybe they're just all sleeping or celebrating or whatever, since it is Christmas Day. I do find that interesting, though. Usually tends to indicate that things are going to be heading downwards. Now, I noticed futures, though, hadn't been trading at as much of a premium to spot last week as it had in the past. In the most recent past, it was trading up to $700-800 premium to spot, and last week it was only trading at maybe about $180 premium, possibly. But anyway, so we'll come back to that in a minute. What I really wanted to look at here, I just wanted to go over the history of Bitcoin. We're looking at Bitcoin on index on the weekly time frame. Back here starting way back in the beginning, just looking at the various peaks and pullbacks and when they happened. Here we had we had a peak here. What was this? Bitcoin was 8 cents in July of 2010. Isn't that nice? And then we pulled back down to 6 cents. That's a 25% pullback there. That was July. This one here, this peak is in November. So that a lot of peaks happen in November. Up around 53 cents. And then we pulled back down a few weeks later in December down to 17. 50 cents to 17. That's quite a pullback there. Doesn't look like much here on the chart. Next, then in February, we hit a high of about $1 and some change, and then pulled back into April down to 64 cents. Now, I think we're going to see something similar this time around. Not that much of a pullback, though. So here, next high was in June of 2011. Whoops, I guess I'm on autopilot. June of 2011, hit $27. It's just $1 back here. Isn't that crazy? Wow. I wasn't around. I was around, but I was somewhere else during these times. It's really, really, man. I can't get into the story, but I had consider about blah, blah, bitty, 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 considerable amount of money I could have put into Bitcoin at that time, which things would be much different now if I were into this then. Anyway, so $27 down to $2 here in November. November once again. Wasn't this November? Oh, this was June. Back here was February. Back here was November. So here we peaked in June, which is interesting. Keep that in mind. June 2011, and then crashed down to November and had a nice run up to January. Kind of like what we're doing now. And then a pullback into February, March. We're going to have our halving sometime in April around this time. So, yeah, I kind of think we're going to see something like this. Maybe, possibly. And then start our parabolic run right here somewhere. Although here we didn't have the halving in this cycle until November of 2012. So that's another thing I want to point out. Everybody talks about a 4-year cycle, and yet the halvings aren't 4 years apart. They're 3 years and 9 months, 3 years, 10 months, something like that. So it's not 4 years. So you add up all those little extra months that are not quite 4 years over time, and the cycles are closer and closer together. So anyone that's trying to tell you compare month to month what happened exactly 4 years ago or 4 years or 8 years ago or whatever, and try to present it on a month to month basis is full of crap, and they're being disingenuous with you, and you should call them out on that. And that's one thing I'm kind of pointing out with these peaks here. June 2011 here, April of 2013. I just want to kind of get a feel for the things. December of 2013. See, that's interesting because a lot of people might think that maybe we were going to peak out in October or November. I kind of think this time around October or November. But it could be wrong. Who knows? Could happen this is late November, actually. Very late November, first week of December that we peaked here. Then we fell down and pumped up again in May. I think this time around we're going to do something similar. Peak, dump, have another peak, have a dump, have another peak. So while we're here, you'll hear others talk about the 4-year cycle, and I'm not going to mention anybody's names anymore, but if you watch them, you'll know who I'm talking about. They first of all don't show you a parabolic chart; they'll show you a regular chart. I mean, a logarithmic chart. They'll show you a regular chart, and on a regular chart, these pumps here, that's all you see, and everything else in between is flat. And that's the reason they show those charts, because they want you to think they've been pumping out a narrative that everything other than the after the halving is flat, so that you do not get into the market. You think you have time, and then you FOMO in at the end and feed into their you pump while they already have their bags loaded. So let's measure from the bottom here. From the bottom here, August 15th, 2015, to the halving, we went up almost 400%, 5x. Currently, we're up 3x. approximately. Um, Now here we had a top here in December again. So yeah, very first week of December, and even this second week of December, 2017. I won't get into where the bottoms came. Guess maybe I should. December. I don't want things to get confusing. I'm trying to stick to the. I mean, with all these freaking lines on the chart, things are confusing enough, right? So okay, so December 2017, and then we came back down here a year later and had a bottom here. Then we came back up and had a top in June of 2019, almost July. And here is coronavirus. So from this bottom here to the halving event, Bitcoin went up 200%, so 3x, which is currently where we're at now. However, leading up to the halving, from here to this top is 340%, so 4.5x. That's why I kind of think. Now, did we do it back here? We're on a weekly time frame, but we tend to overshoot the halving price a little bit and then come back down into the halving. Not much here. Doesn't look like much, but we hit a high here of $15.49, and the halving was at around $12. So I understand that this is just a weekly candle wick up here. I didn't quite get the top there. Let's come down to the center of this candle at the halving. Wait, what? I don't know what just happened. So let's go to there and to the halving. Came down about 20%. Actually, yeah, 20%. So that's why I think we're going to do something similar this time around. Now, where are we? We were over here. So from here down to the price at the halving, roughly 33%. Now, this was in June of 2019. The halving was in May of 2020. That's almost a year later. So everything's different. I mean, you can't say because it did this before, it's going to do exactly the same thing. It's going to be similar, but not exactly the same. But both prior times, we did overshoot the halving price and then come back down into it months or uh, a lot of months later or something like that. But then we had COVID too, which kind of threw the whole cycle off. So I like to subtract a few months for COVID, and subtract this whole from November 2019 to April of 2020. So December, January, February, March, April. Subtract 6 months from there. If you do so, you kind of get something similar to what I think would occur right now heading into the halving. But and then from May after the halving, parabolic run started about 5 months later. think it's going to happen a little quicker this time. Anyway, so that doesn't line up with what I'm thinking at all. So this peak was in what? June 2019. Then we had a peak here. Arguably, you could say as early as March of 2021 and kind of extended all the way to April of 2021. So March to April had another peak, a pullback, and then another peak here. Now, are things going to play out exactly the same? This other peak here is in November of 2021, and arguably in mid-October through first week in November 2021. I believe that, and I wasn't around here either, but I believe wasn't there China banning mining or something like that happened right here in this area in June or something. Oh, my phone's pew pewing. Finally, somebody's responding. Let me turn that off for a second. So then we had a pullback yet again, and then this other little fake out. A lot of people call it a fake out top here in March. So March, April, November, and then March, April once again. I think we will see something similar this time around, except for I think it's going to be this one's going to be November of 24, October, November 24, March, April, May of 2025, and then this one would be November, October, November, December 2025. But I think this one, there's a chance that it's going to be a little higher than the others. So remember, everything's the same but different. Now, so those were all March and November. March, April, October, November highs. This is a June, July high. That's a November, December high. Got a little pump up there. That's a June. See, there's a lot of them in June. March, there's a March one. A lot of March highs. Maybe we'll have that pullback, have a little pump into March, and have a pullback again into the halving. Could quite possibly be. There's a November, April. That one's August. January, May. So you got March and April's, you got November's, December's, you got some June's in there too. And then, as you saw, that leading into the halving event from the bottom, we came up several 100% usually. Now, comparatively, and we don't have a lot of the same amount of data, this is the total three index, and starting with July 2017. So let's see, when did we hit bottom on Bitcoin? Let's go back to there for a second. So yeah. So the total three chart is already starting right here, around here somewhere. And so midway through the parabolic run, you could say. So it's not fair to make any measurements at that point. All right, we're back, and I put this vertical line where the halving was in May of 2020, and I've already drawn this box from the base, from the bottom of the cycle here in September. 2018 to where we started the parabolic run here. And that's 275%, almost 4x for the total crypto market cap minus Bitcoin and Ethereum, the altcoin market cap. So we almost 4x between the bottom and the halving, or the bottom and the beginning of the parabolic run. And then from that point, we continued on up another 900% or so. So another 10x from there. That would be sweet if we did that this time around. So let's look at where we're at currently. Now, this is a much different chart than you're used to on this channel. Hardly has any lines on it whatsoever. That arrow is not straight. But it's straight if you do this. So anyway, that's the measurement from the. Okay, yeah. So let's go over this. The inverse head and shoulders that we broke out of back here in the end of October. There you have it. 3 green lines: shoulder, head, shoulder. There's the neckline. There's the measurement and the target here. It should be about $560 billion. Now, interestingly enough, no, not interesting at all, I guess. Where does that come to? Well, I guess the only correlation it has with anything is this right here on our way up in 2021. It's right there, about $560,000. You know, this looks differently on a daily time frame. But I imagine we will, that's where we will see a pullback, somewhere between 560 and I believe 575 maybe. This looks very different on a weekly time frame. You have a lot more action over here on a daily. Let's look at it on a daily. Because what's happening is that all the coins, Bitcoin and all the other coins, are interacting with various ranges that they traded in back here in 2022, in the beginning of 2022, and possibly even back here in 2021. Some of these levels, resistance and support levels that were acted previously. So as you can see on a daily time frame, well, we're not getting hung up here. We just pumped here. We were getting hung up here around under 500. We were getting hung up right here under 500, and you can see why, because that was the last previous resistance we had back here. Let's zoom out more and more and more. Yeah. You can see over here we were getting hung up in that range, kind of stalling out, and then boom, we said, screw you, let's keep moving. Now, so we currently said goodbye to that little range, probably going to have a bit of struggle here. And then where is 560? Yeah, 560 is the top of this red candle from May of 2022. So between there and 618, somewhere between, or possibly maybe even higher, somewhere in this range, I expect to see a pullback probably. We might get that significant pullback, maybe all the way up to, 630. This looks like a good spot where we could see that pullback. So if we did that and continued up in this pattern, 630, yep, that would take us to the end of January. That's when I think we're going to have a pullback. So we should hit our 560 target, maybe over here, first week of January. Kind of stumble a little bit, consolidate, waiting for ETF approval and all that other crap. Continue pumping upwards a little bit into January around that 630 level. Then we see a pullback. We'll see a major pullback. And where will we see that pullback on the total crypto market? Do we have any sort of, well, geez, we could see it all the way back to 470. I don't know if we want to do that. From 630 to 470, what would that be? Okay, it's a 25% pullback. So that would be totally within realms of reason. Yep. And that would get us back to here too, this range, uh, for a test, a retest of support. Maybe, okay, so probably to 490, 495 to $500 range is where we see that pullback. Let's draw a line there. Okay, why can't I see a horizontal line? Let's see what we got going on over here. Do I want to make it there at 476? I think that's a bit much. Let's look at what's going on over here. 476. Do we need? Oh, there it is. I accidentally clicked OK, and there you have it at 493, which would be this red candle on May 12th of 2022. If you go much below that, then I think we're going to be in trouble. But so very roughly, I've drawn this possible path forward for the total 3 crypto market cap. And yeah, so roughly need to kind of, these may be higher or lower. But what I just, and the times may be different. I didn't really put a whole heck of a lot of thought into this. But as you can see, I just kind of tried to tie the peaks there with various support levels here, which seem reasonable. And if we did follow something like that, that would simply be from the bottom to the parabolic run phase here, which I believe is starting around the end of June, possibly June 17th. 192%, so about 3x. And that seems very reasonable to expect based on previous historical data. All right, so we're looking at Solana now, trading around 121, and has had a huge move since we've talked about it last. Now I'm going to put my cursor like around 107-ish, right about where it's at now. We're looking at Solana on the daily time frame, and the range from the 2021 highs in the beginning of the bear market in 2022. And you can see, I'll show you the reason why we're here in a second. There's a lot of support right here where my cursor is, resistance right here, resistance right here, resistance right here, more resistance here, and a little bit here and support there. Anyway, it has a lot of contact points in this area around 106.7, something like that. Um, and I do have a point. The point is, if we scroll back to where we are today, that we did see resistance here at 107.90. And then we started a new candle here, never fell below it, acted as support. And then the next daily candle here, today, wicked down to this 107.90 and bounced off of it. So what I'm going to do is going to make a horizontal line here at 107.90. And I'm going to make it, well, I'll leave it fat for now. So what a lot of these altcoins and, well, the entire market is doing, it's forming these large ascending triangles marked by here with Solana, the top of this white line that I just drew with the current contact points there and these others from the past. Nothing really in between. But I got to make some sort of a triangle. And this is what they're doing. Finding some sort of previous support and resistance levels, and they're breaking through them one by one. A lot of them have already broken through these past ones here. Some haven't. They're all at various stages, and a lot of them are challenging the March 22 levels here. Solana had a nice little rally there in April. But a lot of the other assets are challenging levels that they held here between March, well, actually all the way between June and but a lot of them are in March and moving on up the ladder here, challenging them one by one. But I believe at some point, because we are going to see a pullback, that there is going to be some sort of resistance and support level that they find here. And I believe that's the case for Solana. And then, I guess this could be the base of the triangle. This could be the base of the triangle. I mean, if you look back, if you go back in time, let's go to a weekly, you can see more clearly that we are forming. I mean, it's what we do over time. It's just natural. It's a natural course of the assets. That we have this big triangular shape, here. And then arguably, possibly another one here. Whatever. You can call it a triangle. You could probably call it a cup and a handle. Whatever. It's some sort of a formation that is going to, yeah, you know what? Actually, this looks really much like a cup here. And I imagine what would happen is that we pump up here a little bit more, possibly up around 140, maybe a little bit more, who knows? And then come back down. So whether that's a breakout of a triangle and a retest of the top, or formation of a cup and a handle pattern, and then it bounces off of here, whatever the case is, that's what a lot of these things are doing right now. So what we want to do, and I don't pretend that, I mean, nobody knows exactly what's going to happen. I'm just trying to analyze the situation as best I can, and I believe that this would be the level that we pull back down to. But I can't guarantee that, and who knows what it could do. So, and when and where all this stuff will happen. But if you are trading, these are things to look at, and you should look at them yourself and go back in here and find levels that you think possibly could act as support or resistance, and where we would shoot through to based on your own analysis of the thing. But I'm just, this is a, you know what? Whenever they ask me, is this for entertainment or education? I say this is for education because it is educational. It's not entertaining. I'm not freaking entertaining, am I? No, it's for education. We're learning here. We're looking at the charts. I don't pretend to know exactly what's going to happen or be some sort of chart guru, but I believe that I have a lot of insight, and I probably look at things differently than a lot of other analysts do. I think a lot of people are missing what's going on because they don't have all these freaking lines drawn. When you draw all these lines, you can see exactly where stuff is happening and where stuff goes to. Anyway, like you can see the how we traded here along the top of this parallel channel here, and we pulled back down to the center line, and then followed the center line upwards again. This is where we're currently trading. This is the center line that we were wicking around like that, and we've broken above it here. Um, so do we continue? You know what? I'm sorry, I misspoke because we are on a weekly. It was this one right here that we were forming. Let's go to a daily. You can see better. But regardless, or let's go to a 4 hour. Yeah, see that with this one. This is the one we were snaking around right here, but also arguably still along this green one as well. And then we had a bust a move. We had a bust a move here. Um, so, and remember, we were looking to form another. We were going to do. We were looking. We had a shoulder and a head, and we were looking to form another shoulder here, and it never happened. Instead, what we did is we bounced off here. Uh, so I did not get a chance to get back to this since we left off over here. Um, so that's what we've done. And but so I told you. So we have okay. So now on the 4 hour chart, you can see clearly that we have found support here where I drew that line. That's why it's important to look at the various time frames, hourly, 4 hour, and etc. etc. So we're getting hung up around the top of this red line here, which is the top of our red parallel channel. Here's the bottom down here. The center line is this pink and blue center line. Now that channel, let's see what that channel represents. If we go back here, you can see that this top here of November 5th touches it, as well as, this is June 14th. Anyway, it's around the same area as Bitcoin here. Uh, yeah, the mid June. The days are a little bit different. And November 5th, was it? Okay, so this and that. And then the bottom, it contains the FTX collapse. So that's the Bitcoin channel, and it's the green channel. Now here for Bitcoin, we also have the blue channel. We've left the green channel, left the white channel for Bitcoin, and are currently in the blue channel. Now let's see if we can make a blue channel for Solana. Starting from here and then going back to the top of it is at the bottom of, believe it or not, where my cursor is, the bottom of all markets, October 13th, 2022. If you subtract the FTX collapse and you subtract this stupid little wick here, that was the bottom right there. So, and then get that stuff right there. Let's see what we got there with Solana. So this is FTX collapse. This is the bottom of the market when everybody should have bought. I should have bought so much more. I did buy some more Solana, but it was actually it was up here. It was either over here or over here. It was around $18, so that was good. It's a good call. I should have got in right here though. Man, oh man, man, oh man, them people right there, the ball right there, they were the smart ones. I bought most of my Solana back here on October 13th. On October 13th, and then some others over here. So if we drew a channel from there to there, and see, Solana chart does not make. If we drew a channel like that, it would be pointing downwards, I think. So we don't have a similar blue channel for Solana. Maybe not using those points anyway. Yeah. I'll have to look at it again. We do have these green channels pointing upwards, but you probably have something similar to this orange channel. That's probably the blue channel for Bitcoin. Maybe a little wider. We could widen this. Actually, let's clone it and we can clone it again and really fill up our chart with lines. Just briefly, I'll make them go away probably. That's probably something like the blue channel here. So if we did do that, and we are attempting to leave, so I would just trying to see where these lines are. Could Solana continue to pump up here to $200? Could it continue by the end of the year to get to 150? I don't know. Well, I think we're going to pull back down to, you know what? Okay, so I think we're going to pull back down to here, 107. Let's measure about a 20 to 30% pullback from there. Yeah. I think more than likely Solana will continue to trade about this red top of the red channel here. I mean, we've come up significantly here. And still, by February, if it did continue to trade there, it could get up to about 140. And when we see a pullback down to 107, that's more likely what's going to happen. So let's move Let's get rid of those lines. We don't need all those lines. My girlfriend's always trying to make me throw stuff away. I wonder, can you imagine that? Can you ever imagine me collecting unnecessary things? Um, so that's Solana. And like all these other coins are kind of doing the same thing. Um, so remember what I talked about, triangle or cup and handle or whatever. They're finding a previous support resistance level. I think in the next month or so, we're going to pump beyond those levels and then come back down and test those levels for support. That's the narrative that I'm pumping out here. Trying to, geez, I can't even spell GALA. Here we are. So I was since GALA pumped. I'm a big bag holder of GALA. I did buy this back in 2023. 2022 October. Full disclosure, I probably own all the coins I'm talking about. Except I don't have any Tesla yet. If I ever talk about that, um, some probably I don't have that I will talk about. So anyway, this is where I bought GALA, and finally I am back in the money. Finally, after it's been trading way down here, but now GALA's had a lot of fun because freaking owners are suing each other and whatever. But as far as from what I hear from all the other influencer people, GALA's like the biggest gaming company, even though we have all these newer, younger ones coming up and seeing some really significant uh, price action. I do expect GALA to come back. Too bad I did not get any more. I made all my bets way back here, and that's just the way it is. I'm playing this market very conservatively, and and the main thing is that I don't really want to dick around with the taxes right now. If I sell something, I gotta, I have to, keep in mind that I'm gonna have to pay taxes on that in a few months from now. So trying to sell it and then reinvest it, and all that other stuff, and that's where you get caught. It's that whoa, taxes are due. Where I need this money, and so I got to freaking sell. And if you're, at a loss at that point, then what's the whole point of all that work and stress and everything that you did? I'd rather just hold on to it, knowing that it's more than likely going to be significantly higher than it is in the next couple of years. Not worry about all that, stress and if I have to wake up in the middle of the night and it's dumping or whatever, all that kind of crap. Rather just not worry about that and knowing that I could, 5, 10, 15x my investment if I just wait a couple of years and I don't really have to do much except sit here and, talk to you guys. But you know, I'm going to do this anyway. I uh, may as well talk to you about it. So it's yeah. So this is what Gal is doing. So I did draw a line here at 44.4444. It's actually 4 cents, 4.44 something cents. And the reason I did that is because I did go back and look at, you know, what looked like a good, where we had a lot of support and resistance. You had support here, resistance here, support here, a lot of support here, as well as resistance. And we poked through a couple times. And this was back in, so this was even back in 2023 is what I'm looking at. I'm not sure what I was looking at there. So this is all new. So see some of these tokens, yeah, GALA is just trying to get back above right here where it was in May of earlier this year, let alone 2022. A lot of tokens are already challenging these levels up here. GALA would have to be up around 80 cents to do that. So should we see some pretty massive moves from GALA? Probably. I have no doubt that GALA will come back and get up to these levels. So I said 80 cents, I think. 8 cents. Whatever, it has an 8 in it. 8 cents. Oh, okay, yeah, there is a big difference because this is 8 cents down here, and this is 80 cents up here at the all-time high. So those are big differences. Um, but yeah, we should get up to should be getting up towards 8-10 cents pretty soon. And the next, I mean, pretty soon. I mean, in the next months, few months, this sometime early in 2024. But right now, we're screwing around with this, but we haven't heard anything from GALA in a long time. And I, listen to Paul Barron a lot. And if there was something to be heard about GALA, I'd definitely be hearing it from him. Now, if I say people's names here, I watch Paul. I watch Digital Asset News, Rob. I listen to Crypto Wendy. I listen to George, of course, George and Tyler, and Crypto Zombie, and Crown, Eric Crown, not Tom Crown. Anyway, I don't listen to Tom Crown, and um, who else? Yeah. So anyway, oh, and of course James, I like James, but so all these people I listen to, I don't listen to because I believe what they say. I listen to a variety of people, and I'm very skeptical of what they say, especially a few of those guys I mentioned. They're not up, and they they got some shenanigans. Especially Paul. You got to watch what Paul does. He played a video of one guy trying to make it seem like it was something recently that they said, and it was from over a year prior to whenever he was. So you got to watch everything that's out there. So that's what I do. I watch them to see what they're saying, what their narrative is, and but I always watch with skepticism and really look for what they're not being upfront about. Anyway, so here we are, and we're down at 35.7. I think we'll come up here through 44. Now, that being said, where will we go? Will we stop here at I'm saying 44, but I realize it's 4 cents. I just say the first two numbers as if they were a two-digit number. So we're here at 35 ish, 30, almost 36. And I believe we'll go up through 44 probably this week. Before the end of the year, we'll be up through 44. Because I also look for areas where my lines cross as support and resistance and breakthrough points too. So there's a reason they cross, and price action will probably go there. So what I'm looking for is maybe where these resistance levels were, up around 50. But if we're okay, so here's what we want to do. If we're going to pull back down to 44, let's just reverse engineer all this stuff. Let's go 20 to 30% up. Oh my God, not that much. So yeah, if we did that, that wouldn't be very much of a pullback. We're going to have to come up to this point right here, 62, or 56-ish. So somewhere in this range between 57 and 62 up here. Let's place an X there. Let's place an X marks the spot. Now we're talking about late January. Now I don't know. I'm just guessing. Late January, 58. Let's place it at 58 because that's where I think Bitcoin's going to go at a minimum. Somewhere around there. Let's move it up a little bit. I think I dropped it a little. So there. So we come up there and then pull back. And then where would we come up to? See where my cursor is on the far left of the screen? Maybe up here to 72. And then pull back into the halving to the top of to the center line here. 55. Over here in this green vertical line, that's the beginning of our parabolic run. So I believe that'll happen. Oops, I have to double click. I believe that will happen in June, mid to late June. So there you have that, something like that. Now I don't like this one here. It's not really on any channels that let's see. If I were here, and I'd go back over here somewhere. See, I don't like that point at all. Well, you know what it could be. But still, I just don't like that. It's out in the middle of nowhere. So this is the channel we're trading in, approximately something like that. If I move that over there, see, now it has some sort of meaning. Yeah, so possibly getting a rejection off of the bottom of that channel. What we would then do is probably more like this. I think. I don't know. Who knows? It's just fun to play with these lines and try to predict things. So anyway, so you're getting the idea, I hope, is that we are trading in some sort of a triangular shape here. Now, just you got to cut out this little thing because this is probably when the guys, this not the CEOs. I guess are they CEOs? Whatever they are, the founders of GALA are suing each other. That's what this is about. So you got to ignore that, like it's FTX FUD or COVID or whatever, and just imagine that we're cruising along here like this, and then we have this triangle formation that we're forming. We break out here, come back down and retest, and then boom, we're off and running. So that's what all these are doing. I showed you with GALA. I showed you with Solana. We can look at Render, maybe. I don't think I have anything drawn up on render. We have to go to this chart, I believe. Oh, we're on render. Um, so we're on a daily chart with render. And this purple line is from a long time ago. Well, it's from way back here somewhere. In well, I guess it's not too long ago. Late November. I thought we'd come up here. We didn't. We took another route, but we got to the same spot right over here, and then continued upwards here. Pull back. It's not exactly following the line, but it's trading in the channel the way I thought we would. Um, Now, I don't think this is inaccurate here. I don't think we're coming down here. Not yet. Could very well possibly because actually we are. It's kind of following the line right now, but I don't want it to. Don't follow the line. I don't think we're going to go there. I think that we're right on the edge of this line. And that's when a lot of times you need to pull another one of these. And because we are going upwards, but we go upwards and sideways. So the upwards movement does follow the slope of these channels, but then you get the little pullbacks to the side. So it's not really that, it's just that I'm not drawing the channels wide enough, or that the wider channels really are multiple little channels that we trade in. So quite possibly, yeah, maybe we stall out here until the end of the year or reclaim this channel and continue on upwards. I was kind of thinking that we would hit around oh, well, you also got to zoom out from time to time. Let's go on a weekly time frame. And if we do that, you'll see that we are traveling in a much more horizontalish channel here. The yellow channel, marked by this yellow and red, the bottom yellow and red dashed line, and this kind of yellow line with various dashes and whatever on the top, and the yellow center line here. So we are traveling in this channel to the top, to the bottom, to the top, to the bottom, little below the bottom. I wonder why we did that. But we came back in, and now, naturally, once you come back in this channel, you're going to go to the top. So I think we're just having a little fake out outside this channel right now. We will continue up to the now so you can see on the weekly time frame, some of these channels get discombobulated a little bit because it depends on where you set your points. And so when I draw them on an hourly time frame, they really get jacked up, get all cockeyed there. So the yellow channel, I do believe this white line, which marks the end of the year, that we will hit with render this week or the first week of the year. We will hit about 550, almost 550. Yep, pretty much 550 on the nose, or maybe even 555.55. And then what? I don't know. I don't know. So when I don't know, what do we want to do? We want to look back in time. Problem is, we do not have much of a history here to look at. So 555 is also, well, it's right around the top of this candle here from January of 2022. So, and this green one here. It's in this range anyway. in this range right here. And since we don't have much above that, the next level here is up at about 698. You got something at 677. That's probably why I drew this line up here. That's the highest we have any price data for render. So, do we pump all the way up to about 7 and some change? Is that the top? Yeah, that's the top of that wick, the last weekly wick. Do we pump all the way up to there? That's where I drew this purple dashed line as a detour from this line here. Possibly. I wouldn't put it past any of these coins right now in this phase of the market. But realistically, I think we do come up to 550. Probably. In order to go beyond that, we're going to have to pump outside this yellow channel. And we have not done that since May of 2022. That's not a lot of price history. So, but we're making history. We are making history right now, folks. Oh, I have this green channel. So possibly, yeah. We do have another channel here that I'm looking at. Besides the yellow channel, I've drawn a green channel, which does incorporate the bottom part of this that is not housed by the yellow channel. And this green channel hits this top here, this price action travels right along at the same slope as this channel right here. And you can see that we do snake up and down within that channel. Now, if that holds true, then yes, we do come up to the center line of that channel right here, 772. And when is that? That is mid-January. So there's a good possibility that we see that with render. Once we hit 550, watch what happens after 550. If we break above that, then we are going probably up to 772. And then we see that pullback in, I'm just guessing. I mean, I'm just saying, because you got to have a pullback at some point, right? And usually we do into the halving. We have like a whatever, 20, 30, whatever. People always are going to say, we're going to have a 30 to 40% pullback or whatever. No, we're in this market. No, we're not. In the past, yes. I don't believe with all the accumulation and all the people jumping in, knowing what the future is going to bring, that we're going to have that much of a pullback here. But yeah, 25% I think is reasonable. And if we do hit that, did I say 7? I think I'm at 720. I think I said 770. 720. We pull back 25% or so. You know what? That gets us right back down to 550. 24%. So if we hit 720 and then we see a 25% pullback, that'll get us right to back down to 550, which makes perfect sense. And how do I have that drawn out here? I have that drawn out mid-January. The pullback. See, I don't think it's going to happen. I'm going to extend this. What is the level here that we have? This level is at about 727 is what it is. So take this. Can I make it over here one more? It's going up too high. I want to make a horizontal line at 727. And possibly, possibly it's not 727. Maybe we go to the max. Maybe we go to the max all the way up to. You know what? We're looking at a weekly. Let's look at it on a daily. Let's see if we got better numbers, better estimates on a daily. Yeah, you know what? Why don't we say right where those candle bodies are? That brings us up to 750. And the very ultimate top is about 830. Now, if we get too much higher, so about 750, let's say. I'm just, you know what, that fits in better with our time frame that we're looking at. Oh, look at all my little orange channels are all lined up now. So yeah, that's later in January. 750 right there. January 20th. And then a pullback. Well, I don't know that we necessarily need to pull back to 550 where we hit right here, but rather to the top of this parallel channel. Um, like that. Well, maybe, I don't know. And then I don't think the rest of this thing is accurate here. I think then we go up. Well, let's see. Halving is way over there. We just came down, had our pullback. Probably, you know what? I'm guessing that we're going to zigzag in here, probably. Going to see after we have this. I mean, we've been on a considerable run. Once this run extends a little bit more, we have a pullback. We're going to see some consolidation, I think, for probably a couple months, and then a breakout here, maybe, and another pullback, breakout, and a pullback into the halving. Breakout here, pull back into the halving, and da 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 da. Anyway, so Quant was the other one I was looking at. Did I draw it on here? Yeah, because Quant saw a big move recently. All of a sudden, that's one I hold to, and I bought it at 145 actually. So back here, I thought it was it in January? No, it couldn't have been. Is this? Oh yeah, it was in October here. October, it was 145. Because it was making a big move up. It was really funny because it kept going up, kept going up. I'm like, yeah, that was a good buy. That was a good buy. Goodbye. Um, what's interesting with quant is if you look, we are on a daily time frame. Do we need to look on an hourly time frame? Maybe possibly I just don't know what I'm talking about. Let's go back to the beginning of time. Can we go back to the beginning of time? Can't be an hourly, is it? Oh, there's the beginning of time right there. Huh. Very possibly I don't even know what I'm talking about. Oh, there they are. I guess I didn't see it before. Look at these candles on the daily. Look at how precise those are. What's really, really funny, and I don't know why I don't have it drawn here, is if you draw like an arrow connecting all those lines. Now watch, I will what will I do? I'll go to the settings and I'll extend the right line. I don't need the left line extended. And let's make that yellow, that color, a different color. Let's make it red. There's our line. And you can see how it's acted as resistance here, 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 here. And we just broke out of it right there as we broke back up into this parallel channel pointing upwards here. So I'm surprised. Well, I don't have time to look at every single one of these things. And then we held that as support here and continued trading in our channel and just busted through this green line, which is what? That green line is part of a parallel channel that starts from the beginning of time. Boom, boom, boom. And it's this purple center line here. Well, it hits this point, and then it also has points in there. Does it hit anything on the bottom? Not quite. The reason it doesn't hit anything on the bottom is because it hits key points in here with the center line. If you zoom in, you can see it more accurately. So we did well. Obviously, at least the top portion of the line, it really has some significance as we just busted through it. So then we can looks like a nice ascending triangle here. Well, and basically what it is this parallel channel. We hit the bottom, broke through there. So then what we would do is just simply come up to the top of the parallel channel up here. And what that is coincidentally, watch this. So coincidentally, I guess should I make it? Well, I'll make two. I'll make one here, and then I'll clone it, and I'll make another one. 'Cause I don't know exactly what they are recognizing as the top. One of them too. And now, so when do I expect to be up here? Possibly here. Does that make sense? That's in another month. Something to think about, or maybe the very top, uh, and that would be around $480. That would be over 3x from here by April of 2024. So we are on a daily time frame. That would be by like the halving event here. I had to step away for a couple hours, but I'm back. It's as if I've never left. Isn't that weird? So We're at 146 now on quant, so that's nice. Um, and I don't know if I had this line, horizontal white line here before, but I drew that. That marks this top here. I also drew this green parallel channel as well as this one. This marks our travel upward in this channel from May of 2022 through November of 2022, the big crash. Um, so that's that. And I took a great deal of time to draw this as accurately as I could, and I cloned it and brought it over here because that's just what happens. And as you can see, we are starting upwards in this channel again. So what I believe possibly is the future here. Um, First off, well, where is the New Year's just like right here somewhere. We're almost there. And I don't have a halving event. Let's add that. Let's add a halving event line here. Excuse me for not having this already. I'm going to go to about 8 round there, something like that. So there's our halving event. And let's add a parabolic bull run line, which I believe should start right about. Come on, I guess. Can't pinpoint it here. There we go. Yeah, let's turn that one green. So there we have that. Now, so what I do think is highly possible that quant continues traveling in this channel right here up to this point where it got rejected before horizontally. An actual rejection would be up here at the top of this channel. But anyway, horizontally, uh, right about here, towards the end of February, right when we're supposed to, I'm predicting we're going to have a pullback. So come up here, get a rejection, come back down and retest what? Maybe retest this top right here at around 160, and this right here is 226. Let's do a measurement here and get a pullback from there. That'd be almost a 30% pullback. Be quite a bit. So we'll just have to see what happens when we get there. So that's very plausible that we come up here, get a pullback to 160 something. Maybe just down to the center line. Do you have anything over here that, yeah, maybe there is something over here that gives us a better. Well, I won't look at that now. I'll look at that later. But possibly we only come down to like maybe 170 or so. Boom, boom. And then we continue onwards and upwards here, maybe even forming a triangular shape here, heading into the halving. Rejection up here, a breakout. Who knows? Anyway, this is possibly where we hit these lines here, somewhere in the upper portion of this channel. And then this is where I believe the parabolic run will start. So perhaps uh, we come up here and then get a rejection off of that, consolidate in on the center line of this channel, and that upper line for a few days, and then bust a move from there upwards. What will we do until then, though? So I know that I believe that we will continue up to here. And then see a pullback possibly to somewhere about there. Uh, Maybe do a little something like this. I'll just make it sideways. I don't know. Yeah, something like that. Up to here. A little consolidation in this range, and then we take off. Oops, I got to do a double. Could be something like that. All right, let's get out. It has enough speculation on that one. But let's watch what happens. We're up to 146. This makes some pretty spectacular moves. And actually, a lot of things are making some pretty spectacular moves. And then I happened to see while I was gone that so Quant's up 6% today. Also, what's up here is Sandbox. Thank God. I was wondering if it was ever going to do anything. So I don't have anything drawn here on Sandbox, do I? What am I on? Yeah, I haven't really drawn anything here. So I'm going to stop and come back in a minute. So here we are looking at Sandbox on the weekly time frame, and I just noticed that it's up 7%. Now it's coming down a little bit. It was 9%. Let's see how the rest of the market is doing. Oh, well, it's up a little bit from where I saw it last time, so that's good. Great. This is great. Okay, but let's take this way now. I didn't realize I didn't really need that up there in the previous uh, assets I was talking about. So here's the history of Sandbox that we have here on Trading View, the weekly time frame. And I did draw this green parallel channel going horizontally through time, and a smaller, like I cut the upper portion of that into in half. Um, and I took great care in placing this channel here with, here, I'll show you the points. It shows this point here, and this point here. And then I pulled this down so the center line had some consistency with this price action here, as well as back here, and even here. Get out of there. What are you doing? Get out of there. So that's that. And then you can see that we came down and traveled along the bottom of it here, struggled to get it. Yeah. And in doing so, look at what happened is that we see that this acted as resistance here, and then we broke back up we're breaking back up into the channel. So everything makes perfect sense. So there's our channel. Now, I like to look for triangles, but what I'm finding on some of these assets is that some are forming triangles, some are forming cup and handle patterns, but they're all one and the same, really. Anyway, it's really just it's a triangle with a little extra little thing here. But regardless, so I've added all these lines here now. So we've broken back up into the green channel, but where are we going? So say we're forming this cup and handle pattern here. Now I took a measurement here with this red arrow because what I see is that we have a top of a triangle right here. We're on a weekly. Let's go to a daily. We don't need that arrow to be so fat. I just was upset that I couldn't see it. Let's turn it back to there. So anyway, here's the top of a triangle. You have a contact point here, 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 uh, whatever. A lot of points there. And then the bottom of here. This doesn't count. And the target right here, placed over here at the breakout, well, it doesn't matter anywhere you place it, gets us up to this level here at about 94 cents, almost 94. And where is that? That is the lip of our cup here. So that makes perfect sense. So we should be traveling up to about 93 cents in the next week or so. And now, yeah. So this will be our rejection. So yeah, in the coming weeks, we come up here to this 93 range and get rejected, forming our handle back down to here. Now the target for the cup and handle, here's the cup portion. So we get rejected here, form a handle back down over to here somewhere. And that's where I placed um, the target for the handle. I mean, for the pattern right here about maybe March. We pull back through February is probably going to be bad month. Well, I mean, not bad, but whatever. It's going to be red. Um, and then we see this. I mean, we don't just come right up there, but this is our target. Our target gets us up to where? To the center line of this channel. I mean, this isn't where we shoot straight up, come over here, and then kind of go up like this. And we hit our target here. And where does that happen to be? It kind of is in this range here. This is back in May of 2022, where a lot of assets already are. This one's a little bit behind the times here. Yeah, a lot of the assets are already challenging their May and March and April and March ranges from 2022. But so anyway, this is a laggard, but it's going to be making some quick moves to get back up there. But then again, this is not until months from now, 5-6 months from now. So where are we? We're right here. This makes reasonable sense as a target area. About 230, and over here around 230, we have this resistance and support here. Got some back here, and probably then at that point trading a little bit of a range between 270 and 230 before starting the parabolic run. So I imagine we'll come up here, kind of chop along the center line of this channel, and then before starting our parabolic run here in June. This is late June, early July. So that makes perfect sense to me, and I want to make some lines here. So I'm not going to draw a line here because I don't want it to get in the way of price action. But say we um, come up here to late January, come back down this way. The 29th of February, we have a leap year. Wow. Is that going to throw the charts off, you think? Um, and then choppy, I'll just draw a straight line. Well, probably. I don't have a halving event line drawn. Where's the halving? Oh, shit. I didn't want to do that. Anyway, let's just continue on here. Oops, I forgot to do the double tap. That's not doing it. There we go. Um, I didn't really draw any zigzags here, but there should be some zigzags in there. And we don't need to bother doing that right now. Anyway, so something like that. Now, let's see if that, what kind of a measurement that is. Up to here, that'll be about another 42. I don't know. It's got to go another 42% to the upside to get to this target by the end of January. We only got a month left. So it might be a little bit too much. However, if we did make that, and then from there, okay, I'm not hitting it right. And then from here, I can't get it right. There, from there, back down to here, it's about a 27% pullback. So seriously, is that 40% up and 27 back down? I didn't realize there was such a difference. Well, yes, it is. Well, this is a little bit more than a pullback to there, but still. Alternatively, we could just come up to this white line right here. Possibly. I don't know. Could get pretty pumpy. Anyway, that's what I see. Something like that. If we just came up to the line, that would be still 25% from here in a month. I don't know. I've always maintained since September, August, September, I've been saying that we are in for a incredibly bullish rally here in the last part of the year and into January. So this has been lagging a little bit and still has more to play out, probably. So, okay, let's take a look at Bitcoin. We haven't done that yet. I'm going to stop and come back. So here we are with Bitcoin US dollar index on the daily time frame. And first of all, to the right, you will see that slightly in the red today, except the total three. It's just barely in the green, holding on there. So pretty much flat, really. Uh, not a lot of action today. Some red, some green, which is pretty appropriate, isn't it? Well, yeah, look at all the red and green. Isn't that? Oh, look at that. Yeah, so some things are doing okay, some are not. It's making a nice Christmassy pattern. Isn't that nice? Anything standing out here? Hmm. Is XRP ever going to move? XRP is going to bust any day now. I'm not going to do a chart on it yet. But anyway, so let's get back to Bitcoin. Let's take this stuff away. We don't need that. So I did remove a few lines here, and I'm going to remove some more. What is this arrow I got way back here? I don't know. I don't need this one, right? We don't need this. Let's remove that one. And this is, I thought we would break out possibly last week here and come down and retest and shoot up here for this target. And that did not happen. Let's remove that. And let's remove this X. We don't need all this junk here that didn't but didn't I just remove that? How many X's do I have there? What did I remove? Wonder what I removed. And we don't need this line here. We know we had a triangle breakout there that brought us up to the top here. And so thus we've been consolidating here in this triangular formation. Now, what exactly is this triangular formation? Because I thought that this orange parallel channel we've been trading in, as you can see here, you should well know that we've been trading in this orange parallel channel since September. And since September 9th. And so I can't move. So here we are, and we're ready to bust a move upwards. However, for the first time since then, we have just fallen a bit outside that channel. But that does happen from time to time, but is slightly concerning. But, how are the big boys going to suck up your coins if they don't scare you with these little fake outs here? So, still, however, consolidating in so the orange channel cannot be a base. However, the blue parallel channel that we just busted into right here is still a base. But note that we have not fallen back down to the bottom of the blue channel, which is good. So I did draw a third line here, this kind of light pink line here, or dark pink, whatever. This line that my finger is on, and kind of matched it up with points along here. These 3 points here, which gave me that. Now we did come down here and wick through slightly on this fake out pump thing here. However, still consolidating within this range. So let's consider the bottom of the blue parallel channel as a base and this pink line as a base. And they each give us different targets. First, the blue parallel channel is, I've measured this green line here from where this candle meets to the top of the white horizontal line here. And this other orangish line coming from the bottom of the pink triangular base to the top here, and I moved them over here. Now, where I move them are where they coincide with the center line of the blue channel here for the green one, and the center line of the orange channel here for the orangish colored arrow. And hey, that just happens to be the 10th and 11th of January, which is when we're supposed to have our spot Bitcoin ETFs approved. The deadline is January 10th for ARK, and presumably that's the final deadline for ARK. And if they deny ARC at that point, then the final deadlines for the rest of everybody is later on in March. And so I don't know, really, ARC would have to reapply or something. I don't know. But from everything we're hearing right now, they're looking like they're trying to get everything, you know, all the I's dotted and T's crossed for an approval sometime before January 10th. Now, I've got to stop right now because I got to go check on my roasting pumpkin seed. All right, seeds are done. This lady up the street was growing these jar of Dolly pumpkins in her front yard, and she gave me a few of them. She had a whole bunch of them. They're really nice. Anyway, so I made six pumpkin pies, and a bunch of pumpkin cookies, and a whole bunch of roasted pumpkin seeds. Really, really good stuff. A couple of pumpkin pies were chocolate swirled pumpkin pies. They're really good. So that's that. And I got a few extra pounds to go with all that, all those goodies. So here we are. And what was I saying before I left? So targets here from the we were talking about the approval of the ETFs. So so we got a target here, the green one, of about 51,000, and this one gets us up to 54-ish thousand. Now, do we have anything over here that coincides with those numbers? Kind of. That looks like an interesting level right there. 53.5-ish. 53.5 up to about 55. You see lots of action in that area. What was the other one? 51. Huh. That's right about here. And that would be right around this area from December of 2021. Well, anyway, so I don't have much to say about either of those, but it's just something to consider. Now, so I do see us coming up here, and that would get us back into our little green pathway that I had drawn. So if we did come up here, continue traveling in our parallel channel, so maybe come start heading up this way, get a little boost from the ETF approval. Imagine once we break through here, wherever that happens to be, we would come down and retest, although I do think later on we will come down and retest it. Possibly not. So if we come here, retest, boom, move up here, and come all the way up to the top of the blue parallel channel. That makes sense. Once we enter the blue parallel channel, it makes sense that we would continue to shoot up all the way through it, following in this orange parallel channel here. And then pull back. This is the major pullback that everybody's looking for, and that happens around the end of January. Into the halving event. Of course, not in a straight line like this, but, some sort of choppy line, and brings us back to 48,000 for the halving event. And this would be a big opportunity for the big boys to suck up some more coins, because what everybody would be saying is that we're coming back down to the white line at 44.8-ish. And we will not be doing that. We will stop short at 48. something to consider there. Now, I want to point out, well, first of all, let's finish this and then chop along the top of the green parallel channel here and start our parabolic run right there. We go. So see here, we would be falling out of the blue parallel channel, but not back into the green one or the white one below it. And then continuing starting our parabolic run here in the end of mid to late June. And there's a little dot over here that got there for some reason. And then onwards and upwards. And then I do believe that sometime in October, I believe will be about 125,000. Yeah, probably right here. I believe we will continue to travel up and down here, come into this little corner right here, and that's the top. End of October at about, oh, I'm sorry, I got a little bit high there. Right here, the blue parallel channel. I don't believe we'll break out of the blue parallel channel. I mean, who knows? But by the time I change my mind about 15 times before we get there to October. But that's one scenario that could happen. And then pull back and then pump again for our March top. I believe we will have 3 tops in October, November 24, in March or April of 25, and then again in October, November, December, something like that of 2025. So we have 3 opportunities to buy and sell on major macro moves, I believe. So now I want to point out that I've been painting the bullish scenario here. And so what the charts tell us, okay, it's not the news will always come out and Bitcoin's pumping because of this happened or that happened or whatever happened. No, this is what the charts say. However, so this will happen regardless of the news. However, this could happen too, regardless of the news. We could have buy the rumors, sell the news on the ETF and get a rejection here. If we get a rejection here at this line, there is a possibility that we do come back down to the bottom of the green parallel channel here for one more test. And actually, where the green parallel channel intersects 31,000 or 31,000 level of support that we never actually retested, unless you believe the scenario that I painted out that we did retest it right here on the 5-minute chart. So if you count a 5-minute chart retest of 31,000, yeah, then we're done there. However, I believe that this was enough of a test because Bitcoin's got places to go, and that Bitcoin said, you know what? We spent a long time not moving anything. We spent a long time right here retesting 25.3-ish. Spent this whole time from March of 2023 all the way to September of 2023. I think you guys remember that. Remember all the sideways action here. We did a lot of time, spent a lot of time testing this base. So do we really need to just pump up here and then come back down here and retest this again? Nah. We got places to go. We got time is precious here. We got to live. We got a life to live. So Bitcoin said, hey, we're going to go up here, and what we'll do is we'll retest up here. Okay? We'll come up here, we'll shoot up here, retest this area, and that'll be that. We've done this narrative with the white channel, the green channel, and we're going to go into the blue channel, test this area, and move on. We don't need to do all this testing stuff. So, but anyway, that is a scenario too. Could be a buy the rumor, sell the news on the Bitcoin ETS and takes us down here. Does it take us all the way down here? No, maybe. Does it take us to the center line of this channel? Possibly. All these scenarios are possible. Or do we just kind of come down here, hit the top of the green channel and consolidate a little bit more, and then have a breakout over here? You know, that's probably more likely if we do get rejected here, if we don't break through and we kind of come down here and dump. Although we have not dumped yet. That's what's leading me to believe that this is not going to play out, that kind of scenario. You know, if they wanted to dump us, why haven't they done it yet? And why are we're not even able? I mean, we're consolidating higher, we're forming higher lows here. So, although we are getting, stuck here at this level, this is a significant level. There's reason why we're getting stuck here, because there is a lot of stuff going on back here. This level here is I get everything mixed up because I look at so many different charts. But anyway, you can see it was this resistance here, this resistance here, this resistance here. Didn't do a whole heck of a lot here, but here in the past, we've had a lot of resistance there. And support back here in 2021, as well as resistance, the last bit of resistance here before pumping upwards and acting as support. So this line is pretty significant here. Let's see if... Come on, I hate it when the stupid mouse thing is too sensitive. 31. Kind of see what kind of... Well, see, this is the other thing. 31 has acted as support. It's already proven itself as support right here. It doesn't need to prove itself as support anymore. I mean, a little bit, we had a little bit of resistance here. But yeah, it's not, it's already proved it hasn't been a level of key resistance. Whereas, yeah, 44.7 has been a big level of resistance here, as well as support. So it's a much more significant level, in my opinion. So yeah, let's break it. Let's break it. I say we break it before the end of the year. Let's do it. So I do want to point out too that I'm not. I'm just drawing lines. I'm not using any other indicators. So hey, let's take a look at some of that stuff. Why not? First of all, let's look at the daily RSI. What are we doing on the daily? So on the daily, wow. Well, this is the start of the day, but on this daily, we have broken through this second line that I've made that connects this point and this point. So we don't want to do that. So we don't like that. Let's look at the weekly. But that changes. That's not determined until the end of the day. So it doesn't look good right now. It doesn't look bad. I mean, whatever. It is what it is. And on the weekly, we're still way above this green line here, and that's plays along with the scenario that I'm painting out. We're still way up here on the weekly. If we did come down, possibly late February down to here, maybe, I don't know. That's what I'm thinking. Anyway, so RSA is not really telling us a lot there. Yeah, I don't think there was any really divergences that we needed to look at there. I don't know. I don't want to get into that now. Um, so let's look at the moving averages. We have a moving average ribbon here: the 20, the 50, the 100, and the 200. Let's turn this guy on and zoom out. Now, as you can see, with this weekly close, the blue 50 here is getting really, really close to coming up through that red 200. And the 20 here is in white, and the green is the 100. So the blue already crossed through the 100, the 50 already crossed through the 100 back here. Let's get the words out of the way. So that's where the 50 crossed through the 100 right here with that nice big fat candle. And we're about to, I guess, looks like next week. I remember Gerber. Oh, I forgot to mention I watched Gerber Baby too. Um, but like I said, even though is upfront and straightforward as he is, and me too. We're just people, and people make mistakes, get things wrong. Everybody sees things differently, so nobody is a guru. And I don't believe his prediction of 79,000 top is anywhere accurate at all. He's thinking we're going to have a top of less than 100K this year, and then some sort of sideways consolidation in Bitcoin. I don't see it. 125 first top, 187 second top, and upwards of 200,000 the third top in 2025. Is what I see. Um, so anyway, you got this going on right here. This is going to happen next week's close. It looks like. So it's this close here, and it's this close here. Yeah, it looks like they're going to cross next week. Okay, that's on the weekly. It's really probably all we need to know. Daily, I think the on the daily we're traveling right around the. Oh, look at that! We're holding the 20 pretty nicely here, closing right above it. So that's bullish too. That we're recognizing it and holding it. Well, we're coming right down on it right now, as a matter of fact. So, but we got the whole rest of the day to figure out that as we've wicked through it here, and even close this candle down below it here, and then pump back up. I'm sorry, we didn't. We closed this candle down below it, and then the next one was a pump rep. So that was like a fake out right there. Fake out, dump, and then boom, it got all bought up back up. So if that does happen here, boom, it's all going to get all bought up and drive us out the top. You can already see that we're already coming. We kind of wicked it down to it. Maybe we're not done here. Um, anyway, so that's enough of the moving averages. Let's turn that off and I haven't looked at the Gaussian channel on Bitcoin in a long, long time. So there's the Gaussian channel on the daily time frame. We're staying outside it, which is nice. If we did come down into it here, that would make perfect sense right there. This move makes perfect sense. Doesn't look good, doesn't look pretty, but it's a possibility. Um, and on the weekly, where's the weekly? What happened to the weekly? Oh, there it is. Just took a minute to think, I guess. Uh, you know what? This also fits in with the weekly Gaussian channel here. This looks like a real possible scenario right here. We come back down here, retest the top of the weekly Gaussian channel, and pump back up. So keep that in mind, folks. Watch what goes on up here. That's a real possibility right there. Well, I'm not going to dick around with that anymore. But what was really interesting when I did look back at, well, where the hell am I? Where was I? Oh, what is that? That's Sandbox was what I was looking at. So this is another chart of Sandbox. So here on this Sandbox, see these parallel channels? They're just drawn at a different width here. But notice this point, this point, this point here. Over here, I have the same parallel channel drawn at this point, this point here. Just that, let's get rid of, we don't need all this stuff over here for now. It's just that these widths are different and I've drawn more of them. But anyway, and as it turns out, so the first channel here, price action hits the top of that channel here, it hits the top of that channel here, and as well as here. So that width of that channel is significant. Also, when you clone them and put them, stack them on top of each other, you can see that clearly it has significance here because we bounced off the top of this channel or bottom or whatever you want to call it. It bounced off the bottom of this channel here too, and then came right back up to it here. Came and are currently coming right back up to it here, and had interaction with it here as well. So big significance on these channels on how you draw them on the widths and what have you, although they are the same channel with the same contact points determining the slope. Now, when we turn on the weekly Gaussian channel here, look at this. So no wonder we're busting a move because we broke back up into the weekly Gaussian channel. And typically when we do that, we shoot right through. And looks like then we could, I mean, most probably we're going to bust a move up here. The other option is that we see a rejection here. See a rejection and come back down. That would play in with the bearish scenario on Bitcoin as well. So you can paint a bullish and a bearish scenario for all these things. Here, let's turn that one off. Well, first of all, let's look at it on the daily. I haven't even looked at this yet. Oh, see, daily we're way above it and tested it pretty much several times. Let's turn that off and look at the moving averages. Oh, we're following the 20 nicely here, and everything's coming back into line. We don't even have a red one on the weekly. So, well, what's really cool is that we are holding the 20 on the weekly. I think that's what we do with Bitcoin, right? We hold the weekly 20 moving average during the bull during our bull runs. Yeah, yeah. See, we hold the 20 weekly during the bull runs, right there, right there, right there. Yeah. So that looks good for Sandbox. Anyway, so I think I've rambled on enough. It's really, really fascinating looking at all this stuff. So possibly busting a move on Sandbox, possibly getting a rejection. So what is that we need to look at? Right around here, heading into January, right around this, you know, and you can't tell exactly until you got to have these lines drawn because this one's coming down, this one's going up. There's no specific number. It depends on where we're at in time, but it's right around here, around 75. So around, if we break above 77, well, see, if we break above 81, 80, 81, probably good. Probably good in the next week. But even lower than that, we'd still be good. Now, if we start getting a rejection around 72, that's probably not good. 72 to 75, if we see a, or 72 to 76, if we see a rejection this week or in the next couple weeks, really. Oh, we're on a weekly time frame here. Um, yeah, so keep that stuff in mind. Um, and before we leave, let's go back and look at Bitcoin, our friend Bitcoin. Whoa, what the heck? We're on a weekly. Let's go to it. Oh, you know what? Let's turn the Gaussian channel off. And so this is a brand new week. We've had this massive run, a red candle, a green candle for last. Well, let's look at this candle for last week. Okay, I don't need this adjusting itself anymore. So you can see this candle here is pretty much even. Got an even wick to the top and the bottom. If I uh, were to judge it by looking at it, looks like the top one's a little bit shorter than the bottom one, and it is green. So, really we're just coming down and it looks like we're testing this line, testing this pink line that I've drawn, and hopefully bouncing off of that. Now, this is a boring day. Everybody's busy. Nobody's trading except for us lonely folk like me who don't have any friends or family. We're just sitting here on our computers talking to you ourselves, really, until we publish this video. I'm really talking to myself. What was I doing? I forgot what I was doing. Daily time frame. Yeah, look at that. Oh, so I still have my moving averages on, I guess. Um, See, we are coming below that a little bit, but really it's just to retest this line right here. So, and it is just a wick. So let's see what happens. We're at 42. Yeah, it's probably scaring people. Don't be scared. Don't be scared. Oh, it's going up. It's 42,800. Huh. Let's see what everything else is doing. Oh, yeah. Huh. Looks like everything's coming down a little bit. Everything's red right now. Don't worry. They're just trying to scare you. All right. So, okay, before I go, don't be scared. And this is, we got to come down and test everything to make sure we can hold it. That's all they're doing. They're trying to get all the tokens out of you that they can. Um, so before we go, I do want to point out that I use Alto IRA for my crypto IRA account. Um, and you can put other things in there too. They use Coinbase for custody and trading. So all the assets that are available on Coinbase, you can keep here in your IRA account and trade tax free until you're much older, um, as far as I know. But do check with your wherever your local jurisdiction and your applicable laws and all that kind of stuff. Um, and they don't pay me. They don't pay me. I like them. I like supporting businesses that are good businesses that treat me well, and I have success with them, and I don't have any problems. Um, but they weren't my first IRA account that I signed up for. I signed up for that other one that you hear about on all the other channels, and yeah, they had absolutely no customer service. They said there was something wrong. All I heard from them, they said there was something wrong with like the KYC process, and I provided them the same information that I have with many exchanges. I mean, my actual ID and all my legit information that I've provided with for many other exchanges and what have you. And for some reason, that other company denied me and wouldn't give me a reason. I reached out to them several times, got absolutely no response from them. So I don't put up with bullshit like that. Um, so try these guys out. It was very easy. I didn't have any problem. They didn't give me any problem with KYC. It was all my real stuff. I'm not trying to hide anything from anybody. And everything was a piece of cake, real easy. And put money on there and bought some stuff, and we're all good to go, making lots of money over there. So it's actually almost doubled. This is almost doubled. I'm not even trading it yet. I'm waiting. I'm waiting for this run to what I believe go up a little bit more, and before I trade some stuff, because I think we got a little bit more to run, and then sometime late in January, maybe looking to make a trade. And anyway, who cares what I'm doing, right? Okay, so like, subscribe. I'll put a link to this in the description, and see you next time. Thanks.